Hi there. Happy Friday. Dr. Sabrina here. I'm the author of the 4-Week Vacation as well as the How to Hire the Best series. And today I'm bringing you another Q&A. Our Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back group members, you guys are great. You ask the best questions. And I love how you're listening to these lives and you're also listening to the Profit by Design podcast. And I'm getting feedback that you're using all the content that I'm sharing with you to help you build a great place to work and a business that really gives you your life back, because that's what we're all about here at Tap the Potential, is helping you design that sustainably profitable business that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. So one of the questions that has come in recently from a Facebook Live viewer, but this is one that I hear over and over also when I'm coaching our clients in our Better Business, Better Life program. So the question is, how do I know if my team member is coachable? And it really comes from that place of frustration. Like, I'm constantly talking to this team member and addressing issues with them. And sometimes things get better, but then they're worse again. And I don't know, should I keep them around? And really the question comes down to coachability. So what does it mean to be coachable? Well, when we're coachable, number one, we want feedback. We're eager for feedback. A players greatly appreciate feedback and they crave it and they use it to make themselves better. Oftentimes an A player, when you give them some critical feedback, will say, "Thank you so much. I didn't know. I'm going to work on that." That's a sign of coachability. But then we have other team members who are not necessarily coachable. And what you'll notice is when you give them feedback, sometimes they will say, "That's not my fault. That is because Joe did this and Mary did that. And because they did those things, I wasn't able to do my job." And so that's a lot of blaming and finger pointing. And so when someone does that repeatedly, it's a sign they're not coachable. Now, sometimes that's really a real situation where their coworkers are not doing what's needed. And so then that's on you as the leader to address the situation with the coworkers and the team to make sure that people are doing what they need to do so that others can do what they need to do. So you have to look at your own leadership in that situation. But when someone is repeatedly blaming and finger pointing, that's a sign they're not coachable. And the other indication that someone's not coachable is that when you give them performance feedback, they make a gradual improvement. And it looks to you like, "Oh, well, I shared this information with them. Now they're doing better." And you're hopeful. But then over time, like maybe a week later, you notice they start to slide back and then they slide back again. And you have to have the conversation again with them. And then they improve. So that's a sign that someone's not coachable, because you're having to put more energy into their performance than they are. Okay. So if you are working harder than they are around keeping them engaged and doing what they need to do, they're not coachable. And that's a sign that you need to support them in finding another opportunity outside your business. In other words, you need to fire them. So the other sign of coachability is just the exact opposite. So when you give them feedback and you see improved performance, it's a gradual upward trend of performance improvement, because that's a sign that's an A player. You might see a little bit of slide back because we're human after all, but overall it's an upward trend of performance improvement. So I hope this is helpful to you. I really encourage you to focus your efforts on building your team of A players, people who are coachable. That's a big part of taking so much of that responsibility off your shoulders, is to have those A players who are coachable, because they are eager to do more and more and show you what they're capable of. Someone who is not coachable is somebody who's just kind of barely doing enough to get by. That quiet quitting that we're all hearing about right now, that's disengagement. And so when you are coaching and you pick up on that no matter what you do, they're not getting better, it's a sign that you really need to let them go and focus on hiring an A player. Focus on what you can do for yourself to be that better leader who's a better coach. And I want to share with you, we have the Coach Approach course coming up. This course happens about once a year typically. I believe it has been a full year since we offered it last fall. And so if your leadership is not where you want it to be, if you know you need to do that work on yourself as a leader, you need to be better at creating accountability, holding accountability, getting your team members to think for themselves and solve problems on their own. That's what we cover in the Coach Approach course. So I would love to see you in there. We have business owners at Tap the Potential who've gone through Coach Approach. They've brought their A-player team members into Coach Approach with them. And it really creates a much more pleasant place to work when you know how to have these coaching conversations and you can do it with confidence. You're able to give feedback promptly and do it confidently. It's well received. You get great results from your team members when you're delivering that coaching feedback. That's what we're talking about in the Coach Approach course. So check it out, tapthepotential.com/coach-approach. Don't miss that hyphen when you go to the URL. It's tapthepotential.com/coach-approach. I'd love to see you there. Have a great weekend and keep your questions coming. Bye for now.